This is the Amp Hour Podcast, recorded November 25th, 2014, episode 225, Junket, Jactation, Jiltedness.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics. Guten Tag.
I expected that to be in German.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I expected German. Yes. Guten Tag, ich bin Dave Jones. Yep.
Eine Bier bitte.
Yep.
Eine Bier bitte.
That's the only German you know. Give me a beer.
That's it, man. One beer, please. And boy, let me tell you.
How was the German beer?
I practiced that so much when I was over there.
Right.
What I learned as well is that it's dangerous to in Germany. So I was in Germany and then Austria, and it's dangerous to start with German, right? Because if you start with German, they respond with German. If you start looking apologetic and speaking English, they say, "Oh, okay." Another stupid American. And that's fine with me.
Especially if it's decent German. Like, especially if you're sort of, unlike my crappy German, right, which it's instant to them, if I say Guten Tag, it's instant to them that, I'm just a dickhead who knows one word,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah. I remember being in Germany and, I thought, I had the phrase book, right? Back then, there was none of this internet bullshit on your smartphone and translation, all that sort of rubbish, right? You had to actually take a phrase book with you, paper on that, dead tree stuff, right? So, I was carrying this around. I thought, I'm going to make an effort. I was going to the model train, the Wonderland, miniature Wonderland thing, right? And I thought, damn it, I'm going to order this. I'm going to walk up and order this ticket in fluent German. And, I was in this huge line to get there, and I'm practicing. I walk up confidently, and I can't remember how I said it. And, I was going to say, I'd like one adult ticket, please, And they just looked at me and went, huh? And just, shrugged their shoulders and went, and probably said, I don't understand in German. And I tried to say it again. I'm holding my phrase book, and I tried it 5 times. And in the end, I just held up my finger, one ticket, and said ticket. And they just rolled their eyes.
Yep.
It was embarrassing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how shitty I am. I can't even read from a phrase book.
That's a big part of anywhere where you travel, though. It's just getting over that embarrassment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's tough.
So have you used one of these apps that automatically can read things and translate and speak it?
Well, let me tell you about getting internet in a foreign country, right? So that's actually the big problem, right? So I went and I got there on a Sunday where I started looking around for a SIM card on a Sunday, and I found out that a lot of stores are closed on Sundays, right? So I didn't.
Right.
And then the Monday.
So you didn't think about pre-booking this before you went somehow, setting it up?
And I probably should have done that.
But you couldn't be bothered.
But I didn't. Right. I didn't do that. I thought you had to buy it there. And then when I did get there, then I didn't bring my passport. All this stupid stuff, just stupid tourist crap, and and then basically
you've got to take your passport everywhere you go.
I know.
In a foreign country.
Yeah. And so I ended up being my friend ended up registering the SIM card under his name, and I had to borrow cash from another friend. It was just, it was stupid all around. And then the other problem is that, so basically, I was carrying around a MiFi with a SIM card in it to try and get internet, and then my phone works over Wi-Fi as well, and
right.
Oh, it was just so dumb.
What's this MiFi? It's just one of those wireless dongle transmitter things, right?
It's got a wireless modem in it, and then it has a Wi-Fi. Yeah, a hotspot.
Yep.
And I think MiFi was some generic name for it.
Right.
Anyways, all of that stuff doesn't like that, and that's the reason I thought I was going to be so smart and do this stuff, right? I was going to outsmart the system, but no, Chris, you're not going to outsmart the system, you know.
Because the system is stupid. The system's retarded.
Yeah.
Why does it... like here, I've got to, to buy a SIM card, right, I've got to, the guy who delivers it, like the courier guy, it has to go by courier. They have to cite my driver's license and sign off some stupid form as that, identify. Like, what's this bullshit?
Yeah.
Right? It's just, why? It's going to stop terrorists getting SIM cards or something.
Right.
Piss off.
I mean, I don't know the political reasons for all that stuff, but I think the main thing, the system I was trying to beat was, I have the internet, the internet cures all, but it became its own its own impediment kind of thing, and that's like a phrase book is just as good if you if you actually learn some stuff. So, anyways, long story short,
you
didn't
don't
use
need
any
an
tap.
internet. Oh no, you probably do need an internet connection.
That's always
to
the
do
problem.
that, to use those apps,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Or
always-
no. Well, surely you can type something in on your phone, have an app that runs locally, and type it in, and then it speaks the.
I guess so, but I mean,
Speaks the phrase.
okay, so phrase, like voice recognition stuff like that, right? I mean, think about all that stuff's online these days, but that's because
Right,
there's
to do that processing locally.
power on the back end, right? Like a phone, otherwise you
Right.
need to have. I mean, phones are very powerful
you've
and they
got
can
to
do
do-
it, but it's
Yeah.
there's a lot of processing involved.
And it probably requires a large app, like a huge app if you're going to do it locally. Whereas the app could be much smaller if all the processing's offline.
Yeah, it's just shipping
Right,
an
so-
audio file to a
yeah.
central server, and then it's decoding it and yada
Yep.
yada yada.
Right.
So yeah, that was one piece of it. Anyways, Germany is great. Austria is great. I mean, everybody there was nice, and they all spoke English anyways, so all that stuff didn't really matter. And it was my first European experience.
Yeah, I found English is pretty common in Germany.
Yeah,
English
it
is.
is. Yeah.
Yep.
And they, so it was great. I mean, it was mostly the cultural stuff that was different. The everybody smokes there. That was weird to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
because I haven't been there since 14 years ago. I went.
yeah,
there.
I mean,
it was,
I
2000 or
was really
something.
surprised by that. Actually, I know that in Asia, everybody smokes in Asia. I know that. That's fine. But
Yep.
I figured Germany, Austria, but yeah, man, everybody smokes there. It was crazy.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah. So whatever.
Eh.
What else do you want to know about it? I mean, you want electronica?
no,
Electronica was interesting, I guess.
Well,
that's
it's-
electronic show.
Yeah.
We should talk about electronica.
And it was huge, right?
It was huge. I don't really have a scale for it because I've never been to anything that big, but big. Big is the adjective I kept using. Electronica is big.
We were able to see a good majority of it in you were there for 2 days?
No, 4
Or was on for 2 days?
I know it's a four-day thing.
Four-day event. But you tweeted that it was dead on the third day or something, didn't you?
On
It
the
was
last day.
on last day.
It was
Right.
basically everybody bugs out on so it's Tuesday through Friday. By Friday, it was a ghost town. I mean, there was still a lot of people. Don't get me wrong.
Ah, right. Friday, everyone's taken a long weekend because they've all travelled to get there.
Exactly.
And they're all,
Right.
Yeah,
and
right.
so
Yep.
really, it's all about scale too. So there's some interesting things about electronica. I've been thinking about this, right, and we talked about it while we were there and everything. Electronica is kind of like a pissing contest for companies, right?
Yeah.
And maybe this is other shows as well, but I've never really experienced
Oh,
this
totally.
before.
No, it is.
Is it? Okay, so the way...
Oh, yeah. Who's got the biggest, baddest stand and
Yep.
in the most central location? And
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And
yeah.
And for better or worse, right? So there are some interesting things in there, right? So, in the electronics industry, there are companies, there's a small group of people that are making very, very big decisions, right? So it's unlikely that Apple is there, but maybe one of their engineers is, or maybe a manager is, or whatever. But these big companies, and it's not just Apple; it's also their CMs and everything else. And and really, it's about the high level people there, right? It's really about the decision makers being there.
Right.
And so it's so you have a CM or contract manufacturer, and they know that they want. So their CEO is there, and he's like, "Well, I'm going to cut a deal with insert semiconductor company here. Is that semiconductor company at this show And am I meeting with their CEO? And does it look like they're spending enough ridiculous amounts of dollars
right,
showing that they've, and it's weird. It's like this
showing that they actually have money,
right? And it's like, are you there? Are you showing your stuff? I mean, there's some practical stuff which we can talk about as well. But that's the thing that really ended up striking me about it. It's like it's so much about the business aspect, and that's not what I expected at all. I expected like a trade show, like where it's like, come here, we'll give you our pitch.
No,
we could talk about this.
that's just a facade. No,
well, it depends though. That's the other thing is like it's such a big show. You can have both, right? I mean, like so you have these booths that are like, and like I don't even know what the size would be, but some like the distributor booths and some of the big semiconductor manufacturers. I mean, like they would have like. They'd have bars and coffee bars and like seating areas, and there are two levels, and like what was the one that was really like Vichy?
Oh, yes.
Vichy.
If you're invited upstairs,
oh,
you're
of course, right.
Yes.
Like Vichy was they're a big component manufacturer, right?
Yeah.
But like they sell things that are like 0201 resistors, right? And I'm like,
that cost point triple
exactly.
CT.
It's like, what are they really showing off here? And it's like,
that's
but
right.
it's not about that. That's the main thing.
No,
it's not about
right.
the actual components for a lot of these. It's more about the we're big, yes, we're here, yes, we can service all of your needs, and we have tons of people to wait on you, kind of thing. And I mean that in a sales capacity, of course. They have baristas as well. And so that's what it is. Now, other ones, there were people showing off, like like a lot of the semi manufacturers. They were showing off stuff like the Maxims and the TIs and the ADIs and stuff like that.
Yep.
They had demos, and that was kind of the standard fare. And there's some interesting demos there, and a lot of that stuff. If people search for it on YouTube, and they all talked about themselves on PR Web and stuff like that.
Right.
But that's like development kits.
Right.
That's like stuff that you could get on the internet as well. So that's not the reason to go.
The reason to go is because your company's paying and it's a junket. That is the reason to go.
Right. And
totally.
I mean,
well, some people, like, if you live locally, you're going to go on your own. Like, but if you're like, like if you have to travel to get to this thing, you're probably going to think twice about paying your own money to go. Really?
Yeah, I definitely agree about that. Yeah. Now, the interesting thing to me is, now we had talked about this, I think, 2 years ago when the last show happened, because someone wrote in about it. I was really surprised by the amount of like suit wearing. Everybody was wearing suits, and now maybe that's a German thing. I was not wearing a suit.
Everybody on the stands, or
everybody,
or the actual visitors.
It was just like It seemed like there was just so many suits, and all I could figure, and here's the real indication: none of them were on Friday, right? So like. All of the FAEs and all, the FAEs were wearing like polos and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that I judge people's clothing or anything like that. I'm just saying that in my mind, I was basically associating suits with people that are making deals and salespeople and just reps and everything else.
So
like
you're
that.
saying it was a majority of those people, because engineers aren't going to turn up wearing a suit, right?
Yeah.
Engineers like us, we're going to turn up in jeans and a who farted t-shirt.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm with stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
You and I go to a show ever together, Dave. I'm with stupid.
Fine.
So what ended up happening is I kind of made this association in my mind, and all I could think, and honestly this happened throughout the entire show, no offense to anybody who's doing this, obviously I talked to a lot of people and I made a lot of friends, and there's a lot of important people who might be listening to this at some point in the future.
But you're all a bunch of douches for wearing suits.
No, it's not that. It's just all I could think over and over and over again is, God damn it, I'm paying too much for components. Like, honestly, that is the phrase that just kept going through my head over and over and over again. I get it. I get what's going on here. But I couldn't help but think, if you're spending this much on this stuff, I'm paying too much. Like, even if it's a fraction of a cent that out of my specific component, I want that taken off.
Oh, yeah, these stands aren't cheap. Companies can spend
millions.
Like at a minimum, is a couple of $100,000 for an average stand, right? And that's probably doesn't include the labor to man it and everything else.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, it's
no,
crazy.
exactly, and all the travel expenses and everything else like that.
Like the stand Altium, we went to the ESC show. That was a big launch for our new industrial range of embedded hardware that I worked on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, we had like, I think, was it 30 or 50 people went? I think it was 50 in the end. 50 employees went, and you couldn't move on the stand for the sheer number of Altium employees on the stand. If you have a look at photos, there's no people on the stand except Altium employees. Everybody went. And it must have cost a fortune. Everyone had their own, 5-star hotel room. Everyone had their plane. Granted it wasn't business class, but still.
Yeah, right.
Like just the expense of the manpower alone.
Yeah,
incredible.
That's crazy. And I got past that eventually. It is what it is. That's a marketing budget.
You're right. Yeah,
people are going to spend that stuff. But yeah.
Yep.
So, anyways, the suits people though, like, and that's the other thing I kind of looked at, and I'm like, well, there's still like, and the thing that told me is that so much of our industry, right, and this is important for our listeners. The other stuff we've said so far isn't as important, but this is important.
Right.
So much of our industry is still people talking to people and making deals at a very high level, right? And that's what kind of is still shocking to me. You think, I obviously I work on a search engine now. And we all, everybody listening here is listening through the internet, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter, though. Like, there's still so much, personal interaction stuff that exists and needs to exist. And this kind of highlighted it for me because it's like, well, when you're trying to get through a crowd of, thousands of people, it's very, very apparent. This industry is creating lots of jobs and there's just lots of people involved. You can't get around it. So I guess that was the main takeaway from the suits thing, So
right.
Yeah.
You've got to be a suit to be in the business.
No, you don't have to, though. That's the thing, though. It's not about being a suit. But it's just like they're there, and you don't notice them until they're all in one place. And so, it's
and that's interesting because you go to the smaller shows like the Embedded System Conference, and probably the majority are going to be like working engineers going there.
Exactly.
So you see mostly, probably almost majority jeans and T-shirts walking around,
right.
Yeah, or it might be half, but you're saying it was like 90-10 or something.
Yeah, at certain days. I mean, like, and maybe it was just a dress code difference, but that was very different for me. For better or worse, whatever.
Right.
And the other interesting thing is that in Germany, the sector, right? So I didn't realize that it would be targeting. Obviously, right? I should have thought this. Obviously, it's targeting the German sector because the engineers that do show up are going to be engineers that are working in Germany, which is industrial and automotive, right? So, like, Infineon was there, and they were huge, right? Infineon, though, most engineers, right, just searching on like a DigiKey or a Mauser or anything else like that, they might not use Infineon parts because they're automotive qualified.
Yeah.
They make tons of parts, but most people outside automotive
expensive.
Can't afford them, and they don't do low quantity.
For your regular,
right.
That's right.
And that's the other thing. It's like you don't really see that stuff. Obviously, I was in the industrial sector at ABB and Keithley as well, and it's like so I saw a lot of those parts and like those targeted kind of things, but I've never done automotive stuff, and so I was seeing people that I had never seen before. So that was interesting as well. Seeing a lot of local distributors and manufacturers. That was interesting because, and it was nice because you could tell very quickly that they were a local manufacturer if all their signs were in German. It's like, okay, I can skip this one.
Exactly.
And
so there was lots of English signs.
I mean, like,
so that was the default. That was the de facto language on the stands, was it?
Yeah, I think
English
for the big manufacturers and a lot of the signage stuff. Like, if you saw something all in German, it usually was someone at least European based, right? So they serviced a lot of that marketplace,
right?
Because it wasn't just Germany, but I mean, there's tons of manufacturing there as well. So that was interesting as well, seeing the localized distributors and stuff like that. A lot of names I had never really recognized before because, honestly, if you go on search engines, like a Fine Chips or something, you're not going to see, they're going to restrict you by where you can actually buy from. And a lot of the German ones I couldn't even buy from most of the time. And so I saw that when I was over there. So that was interesting as well. And of course, the distributor stands. Like again, what are they really selling there? They're selling their image. So because they're not going to show it, they're basically all the distributors are just kind of reselling all the stuff of the manufacturers who are also there. So that was interesting as well. And they try and draw you in with silliness.
Oh, yeah. What about the booth babes? Were there many booth babes?
There weren't as many as you'd think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I keep...
It's been phased out.
Yeah, I keep hoping that gets better. That's really... I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah. They should get big, hunky, half-naked guys, too, like even it out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Like at least equal opportunity, right? If you're gonna have beautiful people, have beautiful people of both sexes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and there was some cool demos and stuff like that. But actually, so the interesting thing to me was I didn't care as much. So like, and it's all kind of clustered. Like, so there's like one or two halls that are kind of like semiconductor based. Another hall kind of PCB based. Hall 1 was like test equipment based. Hall 6 was kind of a smorgasbord. But then like all of the B halls were passives. And I actually was much more interested in that than I ever thought. I actually skipped that the first day, but then the second time I was there, which was the third day, I loved it. It was great.
Cool.
Going through the passive stuff because you get like all the stuff you never get on the online catalogs. So like button manufacturers brought all of their buttons, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
Enclosures, right? There was just like tons of like the Hammond manufacturing booth and like all of these other enclosure heaven. It was awesome. Yep. There was all of these fan manufacturers and just like, things you could pick up and play with. And the button manufacturers specifically. Have you seen the OLED buttons yet?
Oh, yeah, the ones with the little displays on them.
Oh, those are so cool. I mean, like,
I know.
Especially the button manufacturers, because you can press all the buttons, like, it was like heaven for me, it was like kid in a candy store kind of thing. So that was great.
Very cool.
Yeah. And, like...
What's even cooler is that it's all bought and paid for.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Junket, dude. Junket.
Yeah.
It's nothing better.
What does junket mean? I don't know what junket means.
Junket is like a free trip, somebody like all expenses paid trip to basically do nothing. It's just a perk. I don't know what the exact definition of junket is.
Okay.
I can look it up. Junket, a journey taken for pleasure, a trip taken by an official at public expense.
Huh.
So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the term comes from, this, senator had a junket to bloody Germany to talk to the foreign minister or something, So, yeah.
I don't know, man.
That's where the term comes from.
I was doing work when I was there.
Why? You fool!
I helped announce.
You obviously have no clue of how these things work.
Representing you and all the other judges from the Hackaday Prize.
Yeah, you didn't even have a bloody Amp Hour T-shirt on.
I know. I was wearing my Parts AO shirt.
Oh,
I can only wear one shirt at a time, Dave. Right. But yeah, so that was fun as well. So we were at the Hackaday Prize. So the Hackaday had an event, and then we announced the Hackaday Prize. And
were there? Yeah, and I was up there on the big screen.
You
apparently.
were, yeah. That was a good video you did.
Or 3 big screens or something.
Yep. Yeah, it was a cool facility. Okay. It was kind of like a concert venue, and then repurposed for nerds. And
excellent.
Yeah.
So did they fly in all the finalists, or the Satnogs people?
Satnogs just happened to be there. I think because
happened to be there.
Yeah, the one guy's from Greece. I'm not sure. I think the other guy was from the UK, maybe. Those guys are from all over, but it just so happened that they were there, and that worked out well.
I think they should have flown in the finalists. I think that there's only 5 of them. I think that would have been,
Well, maybe next year, because apparently there's a next year. So,
is there?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Have they announced that? Have they?
There's been. Well, I know there is. There actually is a next year. So yes, there is a 2015. No official announcement on what it'll be yet, but I know that one too.
Well, there is. You're an employee of
That's right. Yeah, I've already started
Supply Frame, and you've announced it.
I've already started.
There you go, folks.
Holding my head, thinking about doing this again. But yes, we will be doing it again, and it will be bigger.
But it won't be in Electronica, because that's only every 2 years.
That's right. Yeah, we're gonna find a different location. Hopefully stateside for my benefit. That's the other thing. Like,
what is the next?
Yeah.
What is the next biggest show after Electronica?
I found out that actually the opposite years they do Productronica. Have you ever heard of that one?
Yes, I have. I was invited to that.
Oh,
one.
you were?
I was
okay.
invited to Productronica by somebody.
Yeah, it's like a CES of Europe kind of thing. I think it's like all of the stuff being used at Electronica. Then they showcase those things. I had never heard of it.
Yeah, which isn't as interesting for us, So
right, yeah, I mean, like CES.
But still, if it's Junket, if you get a chance to go, hey, you can go back to Germany. Anyway, besides that, I
don't know. I don't know what the plans are.
What do you hate? You hated the flight, did you? No, were you about to say that?
No, it's just logistically. I mean, logistically, being in a different country is always tough, right? I mean, like
yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Yeah.
So
yep.
I don't know what the actual details
you did take my advice and took a holiday afterwards.
I did.
You're welcome.
That was good. That was good advice. Although, man, 2 weeks away, that's a long like I got back to my lab on and then after I got home on Friday, and then I drove to my folks' house and spent 2 days there.
Yep.
And so I got home yesterday, and I got back to my lab, and I sat in my chair and kind of looked around, and I'm just like,
Jeez, my life sucks, doesn't it?
No, I know it's not. No, I have nothing to complain about at all. But I'm just saying, like, there's something about being in your home lab. You know what I mean? Like, it's right. It's that comfort of home plus nerd cave plus everything else.
And everything you're familiar with, all your internet there works exactly as you expect. All your stuff works exactly as you expect.
Exactly.
Everything's, it's hard doing stuff when you're on the road.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
No, so I just appreciate the feeling of home more. That's like a side benefit of travel, I guess. I don't travel much, but I do like coming home. It's good. It's nice.
I'm maybe getting an additional home.
You are getting an additional home. Let's hear about it.
Hopefully. Well, I'll hear about it today, but I have made an offer on another space. I am not moving from here. This is a dungeon. Yes, it's a dungeon space. I love it, which i.e. means cheap, much cheaper than the commercial office space I'm in now. But it's almost the same size as what I've got here, but it feels bigger because you walk in and, it's like, it literally is a dungeon in a basement buried in the ground.
The working name is the EEV bunker.
EEV bunker, yes. I'm going to have to get a sign. The EEV bunker. Yep. But that would draw attention to it. I want it to be nondescript.
No, you put the sign on the inside. It'll be closed most of the time.
Oh, on the inside, right.
Yeah, of course. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And but it feels bigger because it's like, the ceilings are much higher, and it is like literally like concrete walls all around, like, brick walls all around and concrete roofs.
Yeah,
there are
windows,
no windows.
right?
No, there's nothing. There's no I don't think there's any ventilation.
That is how electronics is meant to be done. Inhaling solder smoke and fumes no escape when there's fire.
I don't know. Maybe I can vent. Maybe I can have a fan that vents out into the car park, into the underground car park.
Nice. There you go. Just like drill
but then I have
drill
to vent to shut it off.
In the garage door or whatever.
In the brickwork.
Yeah.
In the brickwork and Anyway, but it's already got benches in there, which I'm hoping they'll keep. I might actually put it in the contract. Please keep the benches, because I don't know why they'd want them. They seem like permanently installed and attached. It's got some shelving above that, and just the rest of the space is just like empty concrete. So it just feels really big. It's got lighting and it's got power, which is not common for these type of storage.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be like
units,
this is like a rentable, I was trying to think like what we have here. Like I used to rent a garage, like a storage space, but it was just like unheated.
Somebody's garage.
It was in Texas. It was just a garage door roll up.
Totally unheated.
Yeah, but if you can
With the
survive
roll-up-
it, like you said, it's underground, so the temperature's not swing
it
too
should
much.
be pretty temperature stable. Yeah, like I went in there yesterday. It was warm outside, and it was just as you'd expect. It is buried underground, so surrounded by concrete. So the temperature should be pretty darn stable.
Yeah.
So, as opposed to the storage unit I'm renting at the moment, which is like in a hot tin shed on the upper floor.
Right.
And
Yep.
it's
Yep.
like
That's a big difference.
And
Well, that's good.
and
though.
it's tiny. Yeah. So this one can actually be used as a workshop.
Yeah, man. Milling
the
machine.
only issue
Milling machine.
might be milling machine. The only issue might be ventilation and possibly internet. I didn't check the internet in there, but anyway, these things are so rare, and I was so excited that I just I went, "Yep, I'll take it.
Yep.
I'll take it."
I'll take 2.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's like less than a third of the cost of what an equivalent commercial office space would cost.
Oh, that's great.
So, and it's within walking distance.
So what are you going to
So-
do with this, though? That's what I mean. Like, so workshop.
I don't know.
No,
I
it
don't
doesn't
know,
matter?
But it was
Like-
just too good to pass up. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's sort of like another strategic investment
Gotcha.
kind of thing that
That's
that
true.
we'll
If you ever
use.
hire an
And-
intern, then you could stick them in
Yep.
there as well. You'd be like,
yeah.
intern.
Well, it's
Make me
it's
this
just that
thing.
it gives me most of what I want, right? I'm paying big dollars at the moment for this hot storage room that I'm storing all the overflow stuff from home and the business here in. So so I don't have to hire that anymore, right? Don't have to rent that. I can move everything into there. It's a ton of space. I mean, it's more space. My storage unit I'm renting at the moment is already full.
Yeah.
I'd have to start installing shelving to go up to the top.
God
and,
forbid if
know.
you sold some of your stuff, Dave. I'm just saying, man.
I know. Yeah, but anyway, well, it's half filled with stuff from home.
Yeah.
Our house isn't big, so we're using it to. Anyway, so yeah, and I can do. How I was talking about, finding another space so that I can have like a workshop, like a mechanical workshop. Yeah, I can have a mechanical workshop in here. It's got power. It's got benches.
Yeah,
it's got a ton of room. I can put drill presses.
Yeah,
and
the
lathes
noise isn't
and,
a problem
do
either.
whatever.
That's another thing you talked about. in the
Noise
past.
isn't an issue. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
great. Yeah, that's great.
So, yeah. And I could probably shoot, there's no reason why I can't shoot video in there.
Yeah. Especially if there's no video or if there's
So-
no internet, you can definitely get
there's
work
no
done.
distractions.
Yeah.
We were talking about that before the show. Yeah, it's that could be a good thing if there's no internet down there. So, yep, I won't spend all day on the bloody forum.
Yep. It's good to get a break once in a while. So that's good, man. No,
Anyway.
that's great. I hope you get it. I think
so-
that'll be really exciting. I
Yeah.
mean, that's.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
I
Working in
could
Sydney.
get something big. I could get something bigger for an equivalent price with that'd have like roller door, and ventilation, but I'd have to drive, half an hour to get there, right? It's just,
Yeah.
and then if it's that case, I would never use it. Whereas this is within walking distance, so I'm going to go, I can just head down to the bunker,
Yeah, man.
and easy, right?
Perfect.
Yeah. So if
You
I
can have
got
like an
something
air
that
horn
needs,
that goes off once a day.
I need,
Like an alarm
Yeah.
system.
right, yeah, one of those air raid sirens, and and like. I can do I can do drilling down, like here, I can't do it in the lab. This is a commercial office space. I can't, like every time I get the Dremel out and like, it just makes a mess. It's just awful.
Well, yeah, even like,
whereas this,
even if you did like an acid etch type of board, right? I mean, like obviously you said you don't do that, but like even an acid etch type of board, you need to do vias. You need to get a drill press and drill those out. And that's noisy,
exactly.
right? I mean, like,
And-
there's an actual process there.
Yeah, and it takes space and it's messy and, it's just, And like I've got carpet here. Last thing I want is all, little burrs, to go in the carpet and
Oh
all
yeah,
that sort of jazz.
FR4
It's
is
just
not
horrible,
friendly.
Right? No,
It's
no,
fiberglass,
it's not,
folks. That's nasty stuff.
Yep. So, and if I want to do, like I've seen these at auction places, now I can get one, right? I thought, I'd love to get one of those. It's like if I want to do chemical stuff, I can have like a fume cupboard, right?
Like a hood?
You can buy these big fume cupboard things.
Assuming
hood
you
and,
can vent out
you
to the car park area. Yeah.
Assuming I can vent out to the car. Well, there's no reason why I can't yeah, get out a drill and, maybe after hours I'll get in there.
Right. Yeah. We heard blasting downstairs last night. We're not sure what's going on, but that Jones fella.
Yep. Anyway, so I hope I get that. It's definitely not a done deal. I'm waiting to hear back to see if they'll accept. So, and then of course all the paperwork and
of course, yeah. Blah blah blah, real estate,
everything else. But anyway, yeah, I'm quite excited by that. So it just adds, a bit of extra, and it means I can get literally everything out of here.
All of your storage stuff. I'm going,
everything, right, and just leave, the shelves with the equipment, and that's, but yeah. So
definitely,
it's really good. No, it's great.
So what did I miss?
Anyway, we'll see.
What did I miss while I was gone? I mean, so you and Mike had a good show. That was
we had a good show. Yes, it was excellent. So thanks for Mike for coming on and filling in.
Yeah,
it was excellent technical field show as opposed to our shows.
Well, yeah, of course. But he was on fire, man. He was talking over you and just telling you how it is. He was dropping some knowledge.
Yeah, it was awesome. So
yeah, it was good.
Yep, we'll have to get him back. And he said, he'll come back, and he's got a few more stories to share and stuff like that.
Of course,
he thinks he's got enough stories for another episode at least. So so we'll have to at least have him back on once. Yep.
I kind of start to fear like guests like folding over back. Like, obviously we've had Jerry on a bunch and Jeff on a bunch, and Greg and everybody, and Mike, and we've had people like kind of cycle through, but like if we did that for all of our guests, I don't think we'd ever get any new guests on either. You know what I mean? Like
right, yeah, exactly.
We need to balance
and then they fall into the rut which we've got. We've told all our stories. We've done 200 freaking something episodes, and all we just left to do is banter. And if we keep having, say, Mike back on, right, that's what it would fall into. It'd be, well, Mike's told all his stories, and well, there's nothing new to talk about, so let's just talk about what's in the Reddit feed, and yeah, it just becomes
I like talking about the Reddit feed, man. Rather
than well, come on,
I have opinions,
we're already 37
and I need to get them out there, Dave.
Fine, give us an opinion on something. Let's move to something, shall we? That's on our list.
Oh, should we?
Well, we've been just talking crap for the last 35 minutes, so
I should have written down what else I wanted to talk about when I was out there. I don't think I posted about this, but I met some guys when I was at the Hackaday event, and then I met up with because they were from Austria. I don't think I did post this actually. I didn't post this. But actually, I wanted to talk about it because it kind of crosses over a couple different things that we talk about on the show a lot, like crowdfunding and electronics, obviously, and existing boards. But this was Rainer and Daniel and a couple of the guys on their team. But they're doing a Kickstarter, or it's actually not a Kickstarter, it's an Indiegogo, right? And I was going to make fun of them, and then I realized that
the scammer's choice. Yep.
Well, but then I thought about it. I talked to them about it, and I don't think Europeans have an option. Right, so Australia and the U.S. both have Kickstarter.
Right, of course, right, yeah, right.
I never really thought about that before.
I didn't think of that. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's totally legitimate.
Yeah, and so that is limiting. Yeah. But then they did flexible funding as well. But they did flexible funding for a reason.
Once again, the choice of scammers worldwide. Flexible funding on Indiegogo.
That is the choice of scammers normally. So, but it was interesting talking about them. So I ended up getting beers with them when we went to Austria as well. And great guys, really smart, and really nice guys. And so, but
what's the product? What's the thing?
The product is the RPi, or so Raspberry Pi Com Plus, it's called.
Right.
And so
it's just an add-on thing, or what?
Actually, no, I think I did post about it here somewhere. But basically, yeah, here it is. It's the new Raspberry Pi module generates code automatically to abstract out plugged-in modules. Right, so I did post about it on the forum here. Here, I'll send you a link, Dave. But basically, they basically built an add-on board, and it's got like a CPLD, and it's got a STM32, and then it basically interfaces.
Oh, yeah.
It isolated interfaces with a bunch of plug-in modules that they make, right? And so they're raising money for that stuff,
Right.
And it's very, very apparent that they're probably not going to make their goal. They made it like a $50,000 goal and stuff like that.
$50,000.
But like
goal.
looking at this is interesting because it's kind of a crossover of a couple different interest points. So one is crowdfunding. Obviously, we talked about the Indiegogo thing. Another is using commercially available hardware, right? And so they're building on top of the Raspberry Pi. It's got I think our Pi's got like a single SPI output, and so they're actually taking that and then kind of multiplexing the signal out using.
They're using this as a base. So they're using the Raspberry Pi plus their board as a generic module platform, which is kind of strange because you can already plug these things into the Raspberry Pi directly, but they're abstracting it out to a higher level. Are they of development?
Right, and the reason to do that is because there's so few.
How are they doing that? Like a flow chart? They do it like
how are they interfacing with it
in a flow chart? Yeah, like because if it's just C, if it's just regular C, well, why not just plug the boards directly into the Raspberry Pi? Why go through their board? That's my first
basically, and that's the idea. It's like
Sorry,
so this is like a
modularity
type question. No, it's okay. And so it's like a modularity type thing, right? So it all comes down to where you put the smarts and where you put any modularity platform, you have to kind of cover the two bases. One is the simplest base, which is like a digital output, and then the other is the most complex thing you can think of, which might be like so these guys are industrial, so I think they had like I can't remember the standard. Some industrial communication standards. No, it wasn't RS stuff. It was
RS-485. RS-485.
Profibus is what I was thinking about, right?
So Profibus as well. Yeah, okay.
Right. It's
got
similar,
GPS
but it's
modules and right. Yeah,
it's got like packet shaping on top of that and all this other crap I don't understand.
Yep.
But basically
one wire and What's a 9-axis sensor?
Probably like
is that a 9 or a
accelerometer.
4? It's got like 9. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, though, it's like it's basically covering all these bases, and so in a modularity type case where you have this, you have to kind of like the problem is you either have to keep your system completely simple where everything's like a digital input output, or you have to then kind of make it flexible enough, and you have to impose the cost of that flexibility on the digital input output, right? So if you have something that can handle these high-speed traffic type things, you also then have to, impose that same interface cost to the digital input-output type stuff. Does that make sense? I don't know if that sounded right.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So in modularity, like in a modular system like this, though, like that is part of the problem. Is that cost is always going to be a problem because your simplest thing needs to be able to communicate with your most complex thing, and the real problem here is that. Like I'm looking at this system as someone being from an industrial background, right? And I think it's awesome, right? So they basically abstract out the Raspberry Pi, right? So it becomes a coprocessor system where the Raspberry Pi is your graphical interface, and it can do all your high level Linux stuff,
all that really heavy duty, high level stuff. Yep.
Right, and then the low level stuff is they actually have self generating code for CPLD and STM32, and that is self generating, so you don't even have to deal with that, but it's still pretty complex there. And so I look at this and I think, wow, that's awesome. But then you think, so then this is where the crowdfunding stuff comes back in. In the crowdfunding case, most people look at this and it's like, from an industrial standpoint, it's awesome. But from like from a home automation, which is kind of the closest approximation to an industrial setting, people really focus on cost. And so it's all about
and there's so many options out there already.
And exactly.
For all
there's
these
so
things.
many options.
So...
And you think about how many drops there are. So you think about a home automation system, right? It's all about cost. What you really want to do is you want to try and simplify for the simplest case you can and lower the cost as much as you can. And if you're covering for these really expensive industrial cases like I've already forgotten the name of it again, Profibus or something like that, or a GPS module, you basically kind of price yourself out of the low end market like that. And so I met these guys. They're really smart. They're really nice, and I like this project. But it was interesting, kind of like talking to them about where all of this stuff fits in together, and
Yep.
And I was kind of at a loss. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking about this last night, actually, because I was installing my new alarm system, right? You know, my panel blew up and everything, and they gave me a new one, so I'm installing that, and it's got all these, you know, it also, not only does it do home alarm, but it also does, like, automation stuff, you know, so you can get all these expander boards, and you can get wireless boards, and you can get, you know, things that'll control your lights and everything else, and I'm going, this, you know, yeah, it can do all that, but it's not really the right platform for it, you know? It's expensive, it's sort of not you know, tailor, you know, it's not really that specific. It can do it, but it's not kind of, you know,
it's not friendly.
Right,
it's not.
You know,
it's not made to fit. Right. It's not the right tool for that job, right?
And, it's not the right tool for the right job at the right price, and you know, So I thought, well, no, if I need something to control my lights, I'm going to get something specific for that application. I'm not going to tie it in my home alarm system. Okay, I can use my little graphical home alarm system panel to maybe control my lights, but the interface isn't as good as what a dedicated, you know, system would be, etc. And the cost is higher, and you know.
Right, and then there's other considerations there too, like when you start thinking about remote. The Com Plus type thing, that's all wired, and that's good. But then
that's all
a lot of these systems are wireless, and then you have to start thinking about power, and everything else, and then communication standards and everything else. Like you see a lot of these like smart things type of home platforms. It's just really not solved yet. I mean, it's I don't know how this stuff will be solved, and so yeah, it's kind of a rock and a hard place there.
I know. So yeah. Anyway, we will link to them down below if you want to check it out. It might fit your niche application. They certainly do need the money because they're only raised $1,700 of their $50,000 goal.
Yeah,
so
I think
far. But as you said, it is flexible funding. So
yeah, it is, and I think the real thing
regardless.
is like it, and then that's the other side of it too, is like the you know, the high-end industrial customers as well, right? So then those folks are kind of like the ones who are less like, they're the ones who go to Electronica and want to see big shows of power and might kind of thing, you know what I mean? And it's like,
right.
If you have just a smaller startup type of thing, it's harder to try and break into that market because they expect services and big brand names on top of things and blah, blah, blah. So
yep.
That's why I thought that was really interesting. So it's an interesting space to be in, but I don't envy them.
No, me neither. It's hard.
Yeah.
And speaking of crowdfunding, we probably can't let it go.
No, I don't think
everyone's favorite Oh, come on.
Least favorite.
Everyone's favorite.
Least favorite.
Comedy project is the Mew thermal camera. Yes, it's finally come to an end. So yeah, golf clap.
Yes.
Yes, it's finally failed, and they've run out of money, and
they've run out of $282,221 that were raised as their goal.
And anyway, I'm probably going to do a blog post on it, blog post on it, and it's just, you know, they should at least, you know, they promised it would be open source, right? They promised it would be as open source as possible. Just release whatever you got. Your company's folded. Apparently the guy's sold his house. He's like destitute and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Something like that. And just release the info. So like his name is Mud, right? Like their reputation is absolutely ruined because of the way they ran this project and didn't, you know, and lied in various places about various things. And, you know, and like, and you'd think you'd at least want to salvage your reputation out of it, right? And to do that, well, just if you weren't bullshitting, just release all your information. Or, you know, this stuff you can, okay, they always claimed NDA, we can't tell you a damn thing, go away, piss off, even though you gave us money. And at least, come on, at least, you know, show us what you got. You must have something you can release to the public to make it worthwhile for all this money that went down the toilet. Right?
Yeah, it's quite a bit of money
back.
too.
And you know, it's $282,000, right?
Yeah.
And it's just gone down the toilet. They're shutting up shop. The company's closed, and everything's going to be buried with them. And it's just, you know, not only is it a shame, but it also means that, you know, their reputation's ruined even further because people are going to think, oh, well, you've got something to hide. It must have been bullshit all along. Well, you know, prove it wasn't by releasing something.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You know?
Right.
And
yeah,
anyway,
seed the next open source one so it can be improved upon. And...
Exactly. Yeah, they claim they do it to help. They did this whole project to help the industry. Give a low cost thermal tool. Well, okay, prove it. By sharing the info.
It is interesting to me. So they quoted they cited the Seek thermal, which I've talked about, and Mike's done. Mike did a teardown on, and the FLIR one, which you've covered, I think.
But they failed way before the Seek thermal is not the reason they failed.
Of course, right? They cited that, but I'm just saying it's interesting how all this stuff popped up. It feels like it popped up at the same time. I don't think it did, but like.
No,
I'm curious just about what actually caused, is it the sensors that all dropped at the same time, or was just more interest in that kind of thing?
No, the commercial sensors didn't drop. Like the ones you just go out there and buy and are available commercially, they didn't really drop. It's that Seek had such massive back-in, right? And FLIR, right? FLIR, of course, do their own sensors, and Seek actually had all this huge back in, right? And they were actually developing their own real sensors. And that's how they got this cost down. These two companies, Seek and FLIR, they developed these new low-cost sensors from scratch, which,
I didn't realize they actually make the sensors. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. They actually, they're getting somebody, I don't think Seek actually make them. The partner or something. But they were researching the technology, all that sort of jazz. Yeah, they're partnering with somebody, I think. I don't know the exact details. Anyway, but yeah, so they're involved deeply in the core sensor technology. Whereas, companies like Mu, they never had. That's the difference, right? All these people come out in, some people still come out in defense of Mu, just like people come out in defense of the solar roadways rubbish, right? This is the excuse they use, right?
First episode back together, man. I don't know if I can handle more solar roadways.
All right, here we go. People love it when I do this.
No.
Anyway, some people do. What?
I've had enough.
You rant about stuff, I'm going to have a rant too. No, here we go. I'm going to finish my rant, damn it. This is the excuse they come out with, that, you're hindering the development of this new technology. And it's like bullshit, by slagging off these companies and these concepts, right? And that is just utter bullshit. Solar roadways didn't do anything innovative, neither did Mu Thermal. All they did is took existing off-the-shelf technology and tried to repackage it in not even in solar roadways, it's slightly novel. The fact that it's fundamentally brain-dead stupid is beside the point. But yeah, and Mu they weren't spending a cent of that on researching and developing fundamental technology. All they were doing is taking an existing off-the-shelf sensor, this is admitted by them, and then just whacking it in a case and writing some bloody software to interface to a smartphone. There's nothing innovative about that at all. So anyone who claims that, we're not supporting, innovation in the industry is just doesn't get it. They really don't. The end. /end rant.
Are you sure? Nothing more?
Yep.
Okay.
No, that'll do it. Yep. Which is great too. I understand that, developing, as we all do, that developing products is hard, right? It's not easy, right? Hardware is hard. But please don't call it innovative and research, as if they're doing some fundamental research. They're not. Seek were doing that sort of thing. FLIR are doing that sort of thing. Companies like Mu Optics and Solar Roadways are not. Big difference.
Right, definitely.
So, yep. Although, to be fair to Solar Roadways, they're doing some decent research in terms of glass and, packaging and using glass as road services.
So they're
and
actually
all that sort of
material science type of things?
They're doing, not directly, but they're hiring people to do sort of researching the best materials. They're at least going to universities, and going to professors, material science researchers, and going, well, what is the best type of material for this purpose? And then getting companies to sort of manufacture them special for them and doing tests on them and things like that. So that's, there's some innovation happening there, but certainly not in the concept. People think that they're innovating solar technology. They're not even close. right? All they're doing is taking existing solar panels and whacking them under some glass on the road, right?
Yeah, right.
Which is stupid, yeah. So there's no innovation from the solar side. Just like in the Mu thermal camera case, there's no innovation in terms of the thermal camera technology at all.
Yep.
End of rant now.
It's good to be back, man. It's good to be back.
Yep. Next. What's next on the list?
So I had talked to Sean a while back, and last time you and I talked, we talked about the Antares blowing up, which was very sad. But they recently announced that their next launch will be on the SpaceX, the next SpaceX rocket. I thought that was awesome,
right.
just because obviously they've got that new contract going up there, and so they had a post about how they basically kind of buckled down and recreated really fast hardware, and so yeah.
And they're going back. They're having a second suck of the Sav.
Can't keep them down, right? That's.
Let's try it again. The rocket blew up. Yeah, let's try another one.
Right, and when Sean was on the show too, he talked about the the rapid development and stuff like that, rapid manufacturing type of things. So that's definitely something that shows here, because they basically turn around and put it right back into the rocket.
Yep. Cool.
There's an event coming up in December that I'll be at, that Sean will probably be speaking at, about rapid prototyping and rapid manufacturing. So,
and what's that event? Or you can't say?
No, I can. I mean, it's the next. It's a supply frame event, but it's out.
Right.
Every usually monthly I'm out in San Francisco. Usually whenever I'm there.
I know you're traveling every month. You're a big
No, it's nothing special. I'm just saying.
You're a big highfalutin.
I'm not highfalutin. I'm just saying that when I'm there, that's usually when it syncs up. I'm usually there to sync up with that event. So,
right. You're you're almost going every month to San Francisco, aren't you?
I am. Yeah.
Wow.
San Francisco.
Should just move there, dude. Cleveland doesn't cut it anymore.
These days, yeah, dude, it's so cold here now. It's crazy. So
it hit 41 degrees here the other day.
Did it? Oh man, that's
41 degrees Celsius.
I should move to Sydney. Is what I should do. I should move to Sydney. 41 degrees is probably like close to like 100 F, I think.
Yep.
So
105.8.
Yeah.
105.8, and it's not even summer here yet.
It's pretty toasty. Yeah,
it's not even summer.
start collecting water for putting out all the fires again. You guys keep having those hot years.
Anyway,
I think what I should do is move to Sydney for 6 months out of the year.
Absolutely.
San Francisco the other 6, or Cleveland and San Francisco.
Even our winter times are warmer than your summers, I think.
Probably
in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, how warm are we talking?
Anyway, I'll be able to cool off in some mud soon. I'm going to jump in some mud, and it's going to be covered on the Discovery Channel.
Ooh. Wait, so this is like another race you're doing, or what?
It's another race. It's another mud obstacle event. Yes, and I'm doing it for a charity, so thank you everyone who's donated. If you haven't, I'll provide a link down below. I am doing this charity event raising money for cancer research, and I've raised like over $4,000 so far, so I'm going to be doing this event. All the money's going to charity. A few Rigol have approached me saying, hey, what can we do? Can we help out? And so got to figure out what to do. At the moment, I plan to like sort of, drag something around the course, be it a multimeter, oscilloscope, or something else, maybe do a torture test or something like that. Haven't quite nailed down the details. I bet it's on the 6th of December. Yeah. So
it's coming up.
I've got to do some work on that today. Yeah. And yes, I will be. Yes. And anyway, the Daily Planet show. If you're a Canadian listener, you will probably have watched that. They're actually coming out here. They want to do a feature on me, so they'll probably be coming to the lab, and they want to cover this event as well. So
nice.
Yep. So they'll come out here and probably spend 2 days filming to get like 2 minutes worth of footage in a segment on the show.
Nice.
So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking
Anyway,
of footage,
I don't know how they make money with that. Like, the effort that goes into actually recording, traveling and recording all that just to get a couple of minutes, a segment in one episode of one show is just crazy.
Yeah,
anyway.
But it's probably an aggregate, right? Because they're coming to Australia.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, they're not coming here just for me. They're coming here for other stuff as well.
Right. So. Yeah.
Yep.
You're just a lunch break in their shooting schedule.
Exactly.
A 2-day lunch break. That's
it.
great though, man. Look at that. You're going to be like a Canadian TV star.
I'll be on Canadian TV.
You'll be big in Japan someday.
Yep. Right. I'm already big on YouTube. I need one of those T-shirts. I'm famous on YouTube.
Famous on YouTube, yep.
Yeah. Do you know who the number one, well, according to Social Blade, do you know who the number one YouTube channel is now?
I know this one because I saw you tweet about it too. It's unboxing videos for Fisher-Price toys or something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah, for kids' toys. Yep,
Yeah.
it's this chick who runs this channel, and her production values are, pretty low, as you'd expect with just unboxing. Like she isn't, as far as I know, never on camera, right? You just see her hands, and she unboxes these, kids' toys and Kinder Surprise eggs and Play-Doh and all all that, and yeah, like. She's like number one in the world and is probably earning about $5 million a year from doing that.
Good for her.
I know. It's like, holy shit. I'm in the wrong market.
Maybe.
Yep. I'm going to give it all up. Yep. Well, I have.
Oh, yeah? You tweeted about it, you sneaky bastard.
I tweeted that I've given it up. Yeah, I've given it all up. And so many people took that seriously.
Yep.
I couldn't believe it.
Well,
anyway.
Hey, man. You can't deprive people of their occasional mailbag videos.
Oh, goodness. Anyway.
Yeah.
I wish I could get 3 billion views.
That many, really? Jesus.
Yeah, 3 billion views and it's like 3 million a day or something. 5 million views a day or something.
I mean, that's the thing. For what, though? I mean, sure, you can, have people looking at your hands unboxing toys, but...
Yeah. But the thing is, the people who watch your videos don't really care because you want to know who they are.
Kids.
They're Sagan. Yes, They're like 3, 4, 5-year-olds. That's the market. And they watch them over and over and over. And that's how they get so many views. Like Sagan will watch the same Play-Doh video 10 times.
Really?
So imagine every kid doing that, right? Yeah. We get up in the morning, I want to go to the internet, I want to watch Play-Doh videos, I want to watch Thomas the Tank Engine videos. And there's this guy up the mountains here in Sydney who makes a full-time living just making, Thomas the Tank Engine videos and stuff like that. He does a similar sort of thing, unboxing of, things, except he's much better at it than this chick who's number one, in my opinion, anyway. So, and that's how they get these views, is because the kids, telling you, if I start up another channel, it's going to be a kids' channel.
Yeah, kids learning electronics, right?
Targeting 5-year-olds.
There you go.
Screw that. Screw electronics. I want the big bucks. Play-Doh's where it's at, man.
Play-Doh. Yeah, conductive Play-Doh, right?
Right, yeah. Oh, goodness. Yep. Anyway.
Hey, so I have a new website.
What?
Well,
Another one.
Not really my website, but
right, it's Supply Frame again.
Yeah,
your corporate overlords.
It's corporate overlord, but it's actually okay. Come on, man. I actually I get it.
You have to pay the bills. You got to
I work for someone else, right? But this is not a product placement. But this is actually something I've been working on. I mean, this is important to me. This is a search tool. I mean, I don't know. You haven't tried it yet, but whatever.
No.
But it's finally open. So it was blocked before. It was blocked by you needed a password before, but now it's open.
Parts.io.
Parts.io. It's now open. People can try it out. You can register. There's a forum if you need to as well.
You've got to register?
Yeah, for now.
No, fail.
Ah, come on. For now.
Fail.
You have to register
Not
for your
now.
forum, don't you?
You're going to lose people. Yeah, but that's because I need to keep out spammers. I'm not providing...
I need to keep out component
information.
spammers.
No, it's a search tool. all your data's protected.
If that's your problem, then fine. You wait a couple months, it'll be open.
If you just want to search and use it, you shouldn't have to register.
And that'll be like that eventually. But it's if people
it doesn't know. Eventually, no, you've missed the boat. The boat has sailed.
Oh, you're right.
Dude.
You're right. Things will change so much.
People are going to look at this and go, "No, I'm never going back to Parts.io because I had to register."
Maybe, but
surely you knew this and tried to communicate this to them.
No, I think this is actually good. I mean,
no.
Fine.
No, mark my words.
You know
fail.
what? I don't even want you to go there, Dave. That's fine.
Okay, fine. I don't want to register. Why should I register? I don't have to register on DigiKey to go search their parts.
That's true.
I don't have to register on Fine Chips to go.
That's true.
To search their parts.
And eventually,
then what's the deal?
Oh man, you really are contesting me on this one. So what's the deal?
Totally.
It's the data for right now, and also that it's a new site. So that's the deal. So first it was a
deal is you're trying to suck in people, right? You're trying to. That's the number one rule of these sites is to get people's contact details.
Dude, it's an email. It can be a fake email address. You can put in a fake email address.
Then what's the point?
Then what's the point? Then you need to register. Man, there's a lot of people that say that too, and you're right. Now. You're right. No, I know what you're saying too, and it's just like, yeah, a lot of people like balk at that. I don't get it. I don't understand. Obviously, I have Google Glass. So I don't understand like privacy. But then my contestation is for Google Glass is always like I've literally been in a room where someone asked me to remove it before, and then I'm like, okay, no problem, right? I take it right off. I wasn't even recording them. And then I'm like, but did you know there's a drop cam literally in the corner filming you since you walked in the room? Right? It's just like, I don't know.
Yep.
That stuff's always so.
And they didn't care. Yeah, I know. That's an interesting. Yeah, I know. It's a total psychology thing.
It totally is. And and you know what? And you're totally right about the registration thing. But if people are willing to put in an email address, they can access what I've been working on. So that's what I really wanted to say. The reason I've, been talking about all this software crap. It's been interesting talking about or learning about software as well, because I always thought like, oh, software's so easy, and it's a different game. I didn't quite realize.
And not necessarily just software. It's more like server side stuff.
Yeah,
which is I put. Maybe software people just think of it as yet more software. I think of it as a different level of software. Like to me, software is something that I write code. It runs on a processor and it runs, a program that does something either on a PC,
has some UI or something,
or on or something, right? Or it runs on a micro. Mm-hmm. Whereas that webby kind of stuff which runs on server and talks to the internet and databases, that's all higher level stuff to me. Although I did write my own database system and high lele stuff once.
I agree. I totally put web software on a different level, and they all have their challenges. No one should be confused that I have not written a lick of code for this. So,
right.
I am basically the engineer advocate. That's all I am. So, if there's anything engineers don't like, that's usually my problem.
Right.
So. Anyways, I don't need to shill too hard, but I'm proud of it, and
cool. No, that's cool.
I've been talking about it, so thought I should mention it.
I could be entirely wrong, and it could be a wonderful success.
Hopefully,
it just pisses me off that you have to register for a search engine.
Well, then you know what? If you don't want to do it, just wait a couple months, and you'll see it in a couple months. I
did register way back when you told me about it. I did register, so I do have an account there. So I'm probably a hypocrite, right?
Probably, but like I said, if you don't want to do it now, it's no big deal at all.
Yeah.
I wanted to call out this thing that you tweeted about the other day, the Popular Electronics. You had found like some cache of...
Somebody tweeted it to me, or it was in the forum, maybe. I don't know. Somebody mentioned it somewhere. Yep. So I didn't find that. So thank you. I don't know how long it's been there. It's probably been there for years.
Probably,
right?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like an old site that it's on, but who cares, right? Yeah. It's basically like something like 30 plus years of Popular Electronics. And all in
magazine.
PDF format.
Yep, all as instantly downloadable, each individual one as a PDF. Yeah. Nice. Or you go to the front page, you just choose your month, click, bang, there it is.
And tons of
nice.
tons of
and you
old
don't have
ads.
to register to get them.
Oh, come on. Turning that knife, huh, Dave? He's an expert in this, folks.
That's my job.
He is.
My job is to take
a-hole.
you and everyone else to task. Yes.
Anyways, I like the old ads and everything too. I think that's great seeing that throughout the years.
They're great. Yep. I'm probably going to use this in a future video because, as I may have mentioned before, I was halfway through a video. I won't tell you what it was about, but looking through my old magazine collection here, looking for something in particular historical in these old engineering magazines. And I was looking through my own personal dead paper collection here, and which I can move to my new storage space because it's temperature controlled. Yay! And that's the first thing the wife said. She said, "You can finally move those magazines in there." It's not in your lab. What do you care? Well, she cares that my lab's messy. Anyway, so I was looking through. So this is an excellent resource for me. I can use this as well to look through and find the specific thing I was after at a specific date. So
nice.
Yep. But it does mean looking through, for me, it does mean looking through like literally every one of them for maybe 10 years.
Oh, darn. I think
you'll
be okay.
every page of every one.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
That's a fun thing.
But see, the thing that pissed me off is I had actually finished this video, right? It took me like 2 days to shoot it or something or more, right? Because I was looking through every magazine. I flipped through every page. I had the camera set up with the down-looking view and I was, filming everything. And that's when my camera failed. And it failed to record half my footage.
Oh, I remember that.
Course,
I remember you talking about that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I forgot, and I didn't. I thought, it's all captured on camera. I don't need to remember and flag where I found this stuff. So I just closed the magazine, and away it went. And now I've forgotten where all that stuff was. So for me to find it again, I'd have to go back and systematically look through every one again because I lost that footage, you know, and because the camera, the formatting of the card and all sorts of shit like that, and it pissed me off. So much so it scarred me for months. And so all these boxes are still sitting. This was months ago, and these boxes are sitting there still half open. Yeah, I know. I feel like I want to do that. Oh, it was just horrific.
Yep.
Couple of days' work just down the toilet, Really painful.
That sucks,
Yep. Yeah. Anyway. Is that it for today's show?
I think so.
We're over time.
Yeah.
There was a lot of yapping, very little electronics.
There were some in there.
Probably none.
I mean, it was kind of soft stuff, but it was...
That's all we do, soft limptic stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All of the stuff surrounding electronics that you never knew you wanted to know about. The industry, the lifestyle business that is electronics design.
We've never talked about the industry stuff before. That's
new. Yeah.
Oh goodness!
I will say
it's a wonder this show is still going. Oh, I forgot. You can now support the Amp Hour through our Patreon page. I haven't because I set this up while you were away, and I said I would. Anyway, I set it up, and you can now donate. I'm not sure where it's actually at. I haven't checked. I think a couple of people donated, so it might be at a few dollars. But as you might know, we don't make a cent from this. We've been doing this for 5 years, and we've had the odd sponsor here and there. Yep. But we basically this is a labour of love, really.
Mostly it's me and Dave
just to make sure we're still famous and relevant.
Yeah, I was just
and we're still famous. We have the world's best electronics radio show, really.
Right.
And that's the only thing we get out of it at the moment is a warm fuzzy. And it does cost us money to maintain the server, and we send microphones to guests, and we actually buy them a mic and all that sort of stuff. So it does cost money, and time is money for us as well. So. Yep. Every hour we spend doing this, that's an hour when we're not making a living, and feeding our families. So anyway, if you do want to support
real sob story there, Dave. Yeah.
Yeah, real sob story. Yeah. Sagan's are real expensive. Yep, and the wife too.
Of course, yeah. Well,
anyway. Anyway, we do have an Amp Hour Patreon feed where you can sign up, and no, we don't have any plans for any premium content for people, but that is a possibility in the future. We could have outtakes or maybe something else. I don't know. offers only available to people who support us.
Yep.
Or something, perhaps. Yep. We don't know yet. Haven't thought about it. Anyway, we set it up. It's in place. And thank you to the 2 people who've already donated. And it's per episode. So, yeah, it's not a monthly thing. It's per episode.
Extra stuff, so, yeah. Once a month.
No, we don't make extra stuff.
4 per month, mostly once a week.
There's 4 per month. Yep. At most. So, yeah, we don't do that. So there you go. And I think we actually have to release... I forgot to tell you about this, Chris. It doesn't happen auto-magically. I think we have to actually release the episode through there so it knows to charge people as well. So we have to copy and paste. Yeah, so we have to... Otherwise, it doesn't know
Dave's
that
laziness
we've actually
means less
something.
money for everything else. Yes.
Right, yeah. Anyway, I can do that. We can copy and paste each episode onto there, and when we do, you can actually listen through there and get announcements through there if you want, if that's your preferred method.
Cool.
Or you can use the amphour.com. That's cool too.
Well, we have talked about Patreon before, and we do like that, so that's, yeah.
Right.
Thank you to all the supporters. We do have supporters from the past as well. We don't thank them enough, but thank you to everyone who has supported, and hopefully we have supporters into the future.
And we don't think any less of you if you don't donate.
Right.
I was going to say viewership, listenership,
yeah,
is enough.
Speaking of listenership,
but for those who do want to support us,
we should mention our guest for next week will be Colin Carpfinger from Punch Through Design.
You sure?
I had mentioned the light blue bean in the past. The RF certified Bluetooth module. So he's going to be on next week, and we'll talk to him there. Wishing many happy food babies and food comas for the upcoming, for all of our Yank listeners, such as myself, for Thanksgiving, which is on Thursday. Anything else, Dave?
No.
All right.
I don't understand this Thanksgiving thing, but yeah.
That's okay. I'll explain it to you after the show.
Have fun.
Lots of turkey involved.
Right. Cool.
All right, man. Talk to you next week.
All right. See you.
You see, Dave, turkey is a popular bird.
And it kind of tastes like chicken a bit.
Tastes like chicken, that's right. And then what we do is we shove a bunch of bread up the turkey's ass. And this somehow signifies, the discovery of the United States of America.